10 in a row would have been cool, but I guess clinching the West will have to suffice for the Avs. Avs lose to the Washington Capitals 3-2.
Alex Newhook!
Oh boy.
Whoa!
Apologies for the delay on these videos. I bought a house, so kind of working on getting into that house and getting things moved and all prepared and stuff like that. I know that's an extremely bougie excuse, but that's why I've been a little bit late on some of these videos. They should be back to on time once the playoffs get up and running. This was not a high-octane game. In fact, it was a low-octane game for the Avs. It just wasn't a ton to it. A pretty expected emotional letdown from the Avs side after the wild Carolina game where they clinched the West. And on top of that, they're sitting a number of players with nagging injuries. They're not pushing anything. You could kind of see this one coming. Despite all of that, and despite playing a slow-paced style of game, the Avs were still extremely competitive in a style that they don't normally play. So for anyone saying the Avs can't play this style, that style, don't believe it. The Avs can play any style effectively, even missing a significant number of key players. The Avs do give up the first goal of the game, or, well, at least Jack Johnson does. Okay, no problems here. The puck's getting sent up the ice. Jack Johnson is in position, clearly going to be the first man to the puck. This should be an easy one. Standard stuff. Oh, wait a minute. Jack Johnson has completely stopped skating. Oh, wait a minute. Jack Johnson didn't play the puck at all. Oh, wait a minute. Jack Johnson is now behind Garnet Hathaway. Oh, God, not like this. Why does this have to happen? And Kemper gets beat. Not a great look for Jack on that one, but for the Avs in the long term, when they go into the playoffs, when they have their fully healthy D all in the lineup, you can just sit a Jack Johnson when he's having a bad night like that. You play the hot hands from practice, and whoever sits, sits. Maybe that's Jack, maybe that's Eric, maybe that's someone else that's having a terrible stretch. It's a very, very flexible situation for the Avs, and they can avoid having to play guys above their head, assuming health, but right now it looks like they should be healthy for the playoffs. The rest of the first was a fine period, fairly even, fairly decent 11-10 shots in Colorado's favor, so nothing too crazy there, but the Avs eventually managed to get back on the board because they are just too solid top to bottom. Having a good defense is actually silly. Makar firstly just leaves Ovechkin in the dust, forcing him the wrong way around the net, completely making him irrelevant. And then you have Nathan MacKinnon covered, so Byram just carries the puck up the ice himself, no problem. And this play ends with two of the Avs forwards, the two best two on the team in MacKinnon and Rantanen, just AFKing at the blue line, while Byram gains the line, gives it to Nichushkin, the third option, honestly maybe the fourth, fifth option, with Makar and Byram on the ice. He just walks in and snipes. The Avs are good. Val's dope. We've already established that at this point this season. Bo Byram returned 7 games ago, and that's his 4th point since coming back. So he's stepped in nicely. He hasn't found the back of the net yet, but has gotten right back into being a very effective defenseman for the Avs.
You keep asking if I'm back, and I haven't really had an answer. But now, yeah, I'm thinking I'm back.
I wouldn't quantify very much of this game as fun, but the Avs defense is almost always fun. The second period happened. It was a thing. Shots were 7-4. 11 shots total in the second period from both teams. So not very much happening. I talked about this more on the podcast if you want to go watch that for an in-depth take, but suffice to say, the reffing was bad in this hockey game, but on par with how bad it's been for the entire year. Unfortunately, the average has been lowered, and that's what you got in this game. For what it's worth, I do think the tripping penalty called on Nico Sturm to Alex Ovechkin was a trip, so there's that. It just didn't line up with all the other no-trip calls in the game. On that ensuing power play, you better believe the Capitals score. I actually think the Avs do a very good job of covering defensively on this penalty kill. Manson takes his man out of the play entirely and is still able to get back and be effective. Ultimately, a shot from outside comes through that misses the net and pinballs hard. You still have Jack Johnson right there to prevent anything dangerous to the middle of the ice, and this is what should be a tough angle shot. Unfortunately, some weird stuff happens where the shot just rolls off of the stick in just the right way. The puck doesn't come off of the backboards clean, that it bounces up and over Kemper's pad. Not into the net, but just up and over Kemper's pad, which works out to be a perfect pass to Ovechkin. Yeah, you'd probably like to see O'Connor tying up Ovechkin's stick a little bit better there, but it's kind of a freak play that just goes against the Avs. That was the only goal of the second period, so the Avs trailed 2-1 going into the third. And while there was some push from Colorado in the third period, it wasn't that heavy feeling that you usually get out of Colorado where they're just monstrous when they're coming at you late in a hockey game. It was still there to some extent, but again, I think there was a little bit of an emotional letdown in this hockey game. That being said, they still do manage to tie it. Not without a touch of controversy, at least, though. Lehkonen is a player that is easy to love. As the Avs are battling along the boards, they win a puck and get it out to him. He very smartly gets it in deep to Nico Sturm off of a one-touch pass, and as he's cruising away from the play, as everyone turns to see where the puck is going, he immediately starts working hard, battling for position and winning the battle down to the net front. Sturm just tries to throw it in front, and again, Lehkonen winning battles, finding pucks, doing the hard work to make plays happen. The initial shot gets blocked, but it stays loose. He gets a second opportunity, and it eventually slides in. Now, when you look at it from the overhead view, you see the initial attempt. He doesn't get much on it. There was a decent shot there. You saw the follow-through where it taps the goalie's pad and then comes back, and he looks to try again. To be fair, he is getting pushed to the ice here. It is a bit of an awkward situation. Puck is definitely still loose here, so he swings again, goes for another whack at the puck to try and score this, but you can see the difference in plays here, right? There is no recoil. The follow-through is not just a follow-through, but it's a continued push through the puck and also through the goaltender's pad. Look, I think that's goalie interference. I thought it was goalie interference when a very similar play happened earlier in the year where Joe Pavelski scored a goal on the Avs, and it stood there too. So, give Toronto some credit. They were consistent across those two plays. I do think they're wrong both times, though. I understand there's some gray area where you're on a follow-through of trying to shoot a puck. I get it, but I also don't think you can really push a goaltender's pad into the net and have it count. I certainly think by the way the rule is written in the rule book that that's goalie interference. But this one ends up going the Avs' way. They benefit from it, and it's a tie game, so you take what you can get. Unfortunately, the Avs don't keep it tied for long. Just some bad puck management ends up in the game-winning goal. Jack Johnson with full, clean possession of the puck. He even beats his man. He's got space here. He's got easy options. He could outlet it up the wall to Helm. He could go to Byram. There are players out in the middle he could throw it to. And he just serves up a pizza right through the middle of the ice. Now, to be fair, Logan O'Connor could have played this smarter and safer and just gotten the puck out of the zone. You could have also seen Josh Manson play that puck on his backhand a little bit better, but neither of those things happen, stemming from a Jack Johnson poorly thought out pass, and all of a sudden it's a 3-on-1 for Washington in, the pass over and into the net from Johansson. Extremely easy to say the Avs did not play very well in this game, and I think pretty much everyone would agree with you. And then you look at the context, and the numbers were fairly even. The Avs only lost by 1 goal. Washington's a quality hockey team that's going to be in the playoffs on the eastern side. And you're looking at this as the worst game the Avs have played in a month, maybe more. You take that all day long. You're not happy with the loss, but you understand if this is the floor, the Avs aren't going to lose very often. Add on to that fact that right now Jared Bednar has been experimenting a ton, especially with the forward core, just trying things out, seeing what works, what doesn't. That's another thing in his back pocket for when the Avs get to the playoffs. He has the advantage of knowing those things and deploying them effectively once things really get going. So unless you are really dead set diehard on the Avs winning the President's Trophy this year, this loss doesn't really mean a whole lot, and I think the Avs actually can take a good number of positives out of it. On top of that, they should start to get healthy here over the next handful of days. Kadri should be back somewhere on this coming road trip. You could see a couple of these other guys with nagging injuries return too. So we'll end it there. Thank you for watching. Head on over to thednvr.com for all of our coverage. I am Rudo, and I am just ready for the playoffs at this point.
Avalanche time, come on, grab your friends. We're going to the playoffs again with Nate the Dog.